All right, start streaming. Hi, everybody. I am here today with a local guy that I just met. This is Bill. And Bill called me up yesterday, and he said, would you be able to change the battery in my iPhone 6 because it was dead, and it has his information on it that he wants to capture. Now, Bill's already got a new phone. And why did you not get an iPhone? You got an Android.
I got an Android because I wanted to switch from iPhone to Android.
Okay.
Because my girlfriend's got the same phone.
Okay, gotcha. So you were having jealousy over her fancy phone, so you were like, I'm gonna get that.
Well, actually, she said, let's get 2 phones because I get mine free.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. So then, when was this phone last working?
About 3 days ago.
Okay. And then just one morning.
One morning, I went to start, and it just showed the battery. Okay.
Like charge me up.
Charge me up.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on charge, and lately we waited the whole 24 hours, and nothing.
Nothing. Gotcha.
Nothing. Dead.
Right. So then what'd you do?
So then I said, okay, what do I do in this case? So I said, okay, well, I have 2 choices. One, go to Apple, see if they can help me.
And we have a local Apple store over at the Eastview Mall.
Right.
So it's not hard for us to go to Apple, right?
Right.
Because some people have to drive like 2 hours. Like that's pretty typical everywhere.
And I drove like 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Not even 20 minutes. I was there.
Okay.
Walked in the store and I said, I have a problem. And they said, okay, what's your problem? So the lady on there with the iPhone, not the iPhone, the iPad, took the information. She goes, okay, have a seat and somebody will be with you. Well, the tech came out and he said, what's your problem? And I said, well, my iPhone does not charge. Okay. When was the last time it charged? I said 3 days ago. And then it died. I charged it for 24, nothing. And he actually said, I quote, we can't help you.
Okay.
And I said, what do you mean you can't help me? You're an Apple store.
Right.
This is an Apple
You
phone.
made the phone.
You
right.
made the phone. Why
Right.
can't you bring it back to life?
Right.
And he said, we don't offer that no more.
He didn't. Did he open it up and
Nope,
no? So
Nope, not a thing. He just said we used to offer that, but now we don't offer it. Because I said my girlfriend had a phone, and you opened hers up and put a new battery in.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden you're saying no, you can't do this, even though it's your phone.
Right.
You people made it.
Right.
No, we don't offer that no more. And I said, well then, what? I'm dead. I can't.
Did you tell him like that it had your information and contacts, customers on there?
I said I need all this stuff, all the data on this phone transferred to my phone, my new phone. Oh, we can't do that. I said, okay. Do you know anybody that does? Oh, this guy in California. Here's the card. The company in California. You can call him.
Right.
And I said, no, I'm not doing that. I gotta have somebody local that I can go take this phone to.
Right.
There's got to be somebody out there.
Right.
And then I took it home, and my girlfriend says, let's go down to Staples.
Right.
So we went down to Staples, and we told him the whole story. And he said, well, there's a lady that does this. She was just on the news that she fixes iPads and so on.
Right.
So he said, here's a copy of her website. Call her up, see what you can do. I said, and here I am.
All righty. Well, good job, local Staples. I mean, this, from my perspective, it's really irritating because on this channel, like a couple videos back, is a local lady sitting in your same chair with the exact same problem, which we went and told the Apple store, hey, if you call the California people, they're going to quote you over $1,000. And then it's not going to be a different problem than this, right? So that's really irritating. That's kind of that's not cool. I mean, they're
kick in the butt, actually.
Yeah, they're charging. They're the Apple store who made the phone is recommending that you spend $1,000 or more over what's really a $50 repair in this case, and that's outrageous. You can't do that. And so that's why we're making these videos, to show you that Bill here's a real person, just like everybody else that sits in this seat, and these are real repairs. So let's take a look, guys, at what's really wrong with Bill's phone. So you walked in here this morning, and how long did it take for us to figure out why this phone won't turn on?
I would say about 10, 15 minutes.
10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, so it takes 10 or 15 minutes, even if you don't want to actually do the repair. The actual diagnosis isn't that complicated. So let's walk through so that you guys, if maybe you're working at Staples or you're working at the Apple Store, maybe you want to kind of be a voice of change, because this is really, really, really not okay. It's really, 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 really not okay. So let's take a look at this phone. So I'm going to go over here to our hand camera. So let's turn on hand camera, and we're going to demote this. All right, so we've got Bill's phone right here. And what we've done so far is we have opened it up and looked inside. And it doesn't seem to have any kind of water damage. This looks like a normal appearing iPhone 6. And the next thing that we did was we plugged it in to a USB ammeter. And when we plugged it into the USB ammeter, you guys that have watched the channel before know that when a phone is charging, you'll see current here on the red number. So is this phone charging? No, it's not. Now it's going to boot up because in our pre-test here, in our 20 minutes, we actually charged the battery up a little bit. So it will boot with a charged battery. Its problem is that this phone can't charge. So why is that? The next thing that we did is part of what we call rule number 1, which is you don't have a logic board problem until you know that you don't have a parts problem. So we asked, why does it not charge? And all we did was simply disconnect the existing charge port, and leaving Bill's battery intact, all we did was overlay one of my known good that I use every day, a test charge port. So this is a test charge port. Reconnected Bill's battery, and then just said, maybe the charge port's the problem. Let's find out. Now this is a common failure point because the charge port is exposed to the outside world. So when we just connect right here through this charging port, we can now see, yep, that Bill's phone charges just fine. So that's what diagnosis of this problem really looks like. Bill's phone needs a new charge port. And other than that, it seems to be perfectly working order. There's really no reason for this phone to end up recycled or in a landfill. And there's certainly no reason to have to send it to California for a $1,000 charge port. That's excessive. So we do charge ports around here for $50. So this is really a $50 repair. And we're going to sit here and chat with Bill and everybody else that happens to be around here on live chat. And we're going to actually do this job real quick. So we can see here that there's people here from wherever, and I have to drive 2.5 hours next Monday to get my wife's iPhone 11 back glass replaced. Otherwise, she'll be out with a phone. Yeah, it's really tough. All right, so what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and move this over to hand cam. Maybe. Sure, why not? And we're going to put up chat so that we can kind of see what's going on here in chat while we do this. A charge port, says Greg, is not as expensive as a new phone, and Apple's bottom line will be affected. That is true. On the other hand, this experience, we got Bill over here with a Samsung phone now, so there's always that. I'm surprised though that Staples doesn't do. I'm surprised that Staples itself, like this doesn't require the microscope and the soldering iron.
Right.
That they themselves didn't do this really simple diagnostic. I would have expected general repair to open it up and just say, maybe it's a battery, maybe it's a charge port. So I'm disconnecting your screen just because screens don't like to lay down. They don't like to kind of get stressed out a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to go after your charge port. So I'm going to lay the screws out like this, and you can see that the old charge port and here's the new charge port, that it's really a handful of screws and tiny stuff that we need to kind of maneuver around. And I'm serious, when my 11-year-old and he had an iPhone 6, and this is such a common failure point that when his iPhone 6 needed a new charge port, I said, why don't you sit down and figure out how to do it. So there's some really great DIY guides out there at ifixit.com, and you can kind of follow along. And this is something, if you've done maybe a screen before or something, then charge port isn't terribly more than that. All right, so we've got Apple is worth $1 trillion as of August 4th, and this is why. Yeah, this is why, exactly.
Actually, I should get into this stuff because
We've had guys that have come to our microsoldering training before that were retiring from their main gig and thinking, what am I going to do? Mostly out of just like, this seems fun and I like to fix things and I can do it at home.
I do. I like this stuff.
Yeah.
Because actually, when I lived in New Jersey, I took cameras apart.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
To fix them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, tell me about that.
Same kind of tools.
Mm-hmm.
I walked into place and they said, okay, we're going to train you how to take cameras apart.
Mm-hmm.
And the one guy asked me, he says, do you know the difference between a wood screw and a metal screw? And I said, yeah, I used to be a machinist.
Okay.
And he said, well, then you should have no problem. I said, no. So I did. The only trouble I had learning was the actual the click of the camera lens.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, you got to learn that because you got to go in the computer and you got to face the camera to the little chart and you got to click it when it comes to time to click it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand that, so he said, okay, we'll explain it to you step by step.
Yep.
And eventually I got it. But sometimes you missed a step on how to fix it the right way. This was wrong, that was wrong, but eventually I was too slow. They didn't like me. They thought I was taking too long. So.
Taking too long.
Yeah. So
you gotta meet those quotas.
Yep, exactly. The numbers count.
Yeah, exactly.
How many cameras can you fix in an hour?
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Well, what about troubleshooting? Like, did you have some freedom to troubleshoot, or was it just replace everything, or what?
Yeah, just not troubleshoot, but replace whatever is wrong with it. They just said, open it up, replace this, and then you just replace it, put it back together. That's pretty.
Now, what kind of cameras were those?
Oh my God, you name them, they had them.
Yeah.
All kinds of cameras.
Because I heard so I was referencing iFixit.com earlier, which I reference all the time, and iFixit is was started by Kyle Wiens in his dorm room years ago, and when he was growing up, he worked in a camera shop, and one of the main things that really got him into this sort of right to repair movement is the idea that that he worked for, I think, a Nikon shop. And then one day, the manufacturer just said, we're not doing this anymore. We're not selling you any parts anymore. We don't want this stuff fixed. And that shop had to close down. And he thought, that's outrageous. And he kind of watched that happen. So that kind of set him on this path of, let's see what we can do about this, which has really been amazing and a huge part of why there's so much sort of willingness to repair your own stuff and information about it. All right, so this piece here is your loudspeaker.
Oh, okay.
This piece here is the vibrator motor, that guy. So we'll stick that out there. And now everything else that's left in here is all replaceable. And really, it's just kind of, like one big sticker, right? So we're just going to kind of peel it out of there. If we wanted to preserve it, we could use a little bit of heat, but we know that this one is definitely dead, so it doesn't really matter. We're just going to yank it out of there. All right, and then we're going to be doing the install. All right. Why fix a phone when you're in the business of selling phones, right? We have a bunch of You Break, We Fix shops. I wonder if they'd look at fixing this. You Break, I Fix? Yeah, they would fix this.
I've been to one of those.
Yeah, there's one in Victor.
Yep.
Yeah, I would guess. I mean, they seem to be, they're a franchise. Okay. See how that's the same as that, more or less.
Yep.
So we're gonna put in the new one, and if we were smart, we would be sure that this particular new one works. But we're gonna take a risk. We're gonna go for it. All right, so we're going to just peel off any adhesive. And let me just look at it under the microscope to make sure that that looks like it's all right. Because like I told you, I can't go buy this part down at the Apple store, they will not sell it to me.
Right.
And so I have to get these ultimately from China.
Wow.
And they're, and over there it can be really hit or miss. There's a lot of communication barriers. So, and really price is a huge driver rather than quality a lot of the time. Yeah, so we're gonna get this to snug back in there, and I'll show you what it looks like under the microscopes. All right. Is the sand behind me for putting out the MacBook batteries if they get swollen before repairing? No, swollen batteries, as you may know from your Apple certification, according to Apple, swollen batteries are not dangerous in any way. Swollen batteries are the normal, natural end-of-life state of a battery. So no need to be concerned, which I always thought was really interesting because the Apple in general is just so pro fear-mongering for safety, but it says right there on the Atlas certification study guide written by Apple that there's no need to be concerned about your swollen batteries. That's perfectly normal. So we're going to kind of line up everything here in advance of putting in the screws.
Yeah.
And I really would like to have the option to buy this charge port from Apple itself.
Right.
But they will not sell it to me. And that's part of this right to repair. So every year I go over to Albany and sit and talk with the state legislation and say, hey, why don't you watch us do this kind of stuff and say, this one, wouldn't it be nice if I could be sure that this is a good part? I mean, this one, I'm hoping it's a good one, and we'll find out. But if it's not, then I'm gonna have to go get another one. Just keep trial and erroring it. I have no way to to be sure.
You buy a new battery in the store, you don't know if it's gonna be good or not. You bring it home, it's in the package, yes, but when you go to put it in, does it work?
Yes.
That's the whole thing. Some batteries are brand new, you bring it home and they're duds. They can't work. What happened? Oh, I don't know, just dead.
Yeah, so they do have a new, theoretical, sure, we're going to let you buy stuff, the Independent Repair Parts Provider Program, which seems like, it seems okay, but it actually is so restrictive, I wouldn't be able to take part, mostly because I wouldn't get approved. But if I did get approved, then I still wouldn't be able to do it because it would require me not to do this. You're not allowed to say hey guys, this is how you fix a charge port. That would be against the rules. All right, so we're gonna test before we go put all those screws back in, because I don't want to find out after I put all the screws back in that I got to go back and go fish. So we're gonna.
Been there, done that.
So we're gonna just kind of plug it in, and before putting the screws in, we're gonna say, is this charge port itself okay or not? So let's take a look here on. Let's bring back this and take away that. So let's see, with it just temporarily stuck in there, does it charge? All right, answer is yeah. Okay, good. So now we'll go ahead and finish up all those screws. While everybody that works in a cell phone shop that's on stream is thinking, man, that just takes forever to do these charge ports. Mostly because chit-chatting is multitasking, and now that I'm 45, you gotta. You only have I'm 45. You got what percent of your brain? Hey, somebody told us to wake up and pay attention. All right, Ed gave us $2. Good job, Jessa. Love your streams. Thanks, Ed. We always appreciate it. All right, so now we're gonna put these back in. All right, do you want to do one of the screws?
Seriously?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
All right, here. Let's pick one that is. Let's do one of these. Let's put in this, and then we're gonna make this kind of go how it goes. I'm gonna pick one that is not the smallest screw in this whole thing. All right, so we'll pick this one right here, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here it is. I'm going to disconnect the screen so that that doesn't have to flop. All right. So here's your screw.
Okay.
All right, we're going to
Is that magnetized?
Yeah, should be magnetized.
Okay.
So we're going to take a look. Here we go. All right, so here's your screw that you're going to pick up like this.
Yep.
And then it lives
In there.
right in there.
Okay.
All right, and it's super tiny. So give it a try. All right, you drive the bus.
I drive the bus.
All right, so now we got Bill is on the clock. So
to speak.
when you woke up this morning, did you think that you were going to be actually be fixing your own phone?
No. But guess what? I enjoy it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the first time where I made somebody
Okay.
come on over. You got that in already? And well, that makes me worried about the camera people. How that was fast. All right,
That was cool.
that was cool. All right, here, do another one.
Okay.
All right, let's do.
I'll work for
Let's
you.
see.
I'll work for you.
Yeah, you're gonna. Let's see. Let's have you do. Let's do one that's a more of a challenge than this one right here.
Down the
All right.
bottom there?
So
Okay.
that is this screw there, and it goes.
Right in there.
Yeah. So there's 1, 2,
Two,
3,
three.
and they go 1, 2, 3. So
So I
let's do this middle
I
one.
know in
'cause-
the middle then.
yeah. So let's see you do that. All right. Now we're gonna. This time we're gonna watch. See your speed.
Speed.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Kind of like, Zen like after a while. Like,
Yeah.
my husband got into paint by number as an adult, and he was
Really?
like, he just sat there, these tiny little adult paint by numbers, super tiny, super detailed.
There you go.
Very nice. All right. Well, I think you're faster than me. So, very good.
This is cool. I like this stuff.
Yeah. All right. Now I'll take over so that we can kind of
Yep.
get finished up, and you can see what chat has to say as we 45. I thought you were 29. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm 29. I'm always gonna be 29. Yep. I'm totally 29. All right. So let's make sure I got this all going in the right places.
Mm-hmm.
As I've turned 45, I have begun to appreciate the microscope a lot.
I got a birthday coming up next week.
How old are you going to be? Tell us. We can handle it.
I'm semi-retired now, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 69.
69?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother-in-law turned 69 this year.
Wow.
So what's the difference between 45 and 69? What do I have to look forward to? Because 45 kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Does it? Do you make peace with not being able to hear and stuff like that?
I got ringing in my ears 24/7. So years ago, when disco era was out, I was in the middle of 3 speakers, blasting away with music. So
Yeah.
like a dummy, I forgot to put earplugs in, and I have ringing ever since.
Just like from one night, or just like
No, I
a
was-
chronic, like I did that every night?
No, I only did that on the weekends, but I worked in a machine shop for 18 years or 20, and I didn't wear earplugs in the machine shop, and all the noisy machines were
Mm-hmm.
at my ears,
Yeah.
and that's how I got that. Just like race car drivers, they race and they have all that noise from the race car, and they said that's what killed my ears, all the noise.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me over the course of 18, 20 years. So I still have ringing. I have ringing right now. I can hear it, but I can't do nothing about it because.
So do you just get used to that stuff? Like my vision in the last year or two has started to get to where you can either see close up or far away.
Oh, that's me.
Take your pick.
That's me.
Well, it's happening to Katrina too. Like today, she
Really?
was.
Wow.
Yeah, Katrina, are you here?
I am here.
How's your vision?
Oh, I go over in about 25 minutes to get it checked.
To get it checked. I
Okay.
see. Gotcha.
Yeah, like right now, I don't need glasses because I can see
Okay,
see
gotcha.
close up.
Yeah. So
for
good
driving home.
thing for picking close up today. Yeah, that was the right choice to
Oh,
make.
this kind of stuff I love.
Yeah.
I should actually learn how to do this stuff
Yeah.
because this is cool.
Well, you should go to ifixit.com and pick
No.
up some
I don't
somebody's phone
I don't
around
want to
you.
go them. I'd rather go to you.
Well, iFixit I think is a great resource because it's free, and that's the guy that grew up in the camera shop.
Oh, really?
And then when he had a MacBook, back in the day, and he it was the same kind of thing. It was a port that seemed like it should be totally replaceable. Apple Store's not going to help him. So he figured, well, it's useless to me. I'm going to see what happens if I give it a try. And so he took it apart. And when he took it apart, he took pictures of it the whole way.
Wow.
And then he got it fixed. And then he said, I bet other people would want to do this. So he just made a post online and said, this is how you do this if anybody wants to know. And it was so popular that he realized people really want to know this stuff. And so he started a business to sell little parts and pieces. Like you could buy this charge port from iFixit.com. And
now, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And you probably got a hypothetical answer for me.
Okay.
I have a old phone, back in, 5 years ago I bought this phone. It was, I forgot what it was now. But I couldn't get nothing off of that phone either, same thing. And it's probably the same problem I had with that phone. And I got all kinds of contacts on that phone, which I could probably switch over
Still
to my new
use.
phone.
Yeah.
So I should look that up.
Yeah, totally.
Because I moved, and oh my God, if we could switch over to all that stuff, I would be amazed.
Yeah.
So I have to look that phone up because it's one of those old phones, like a flip phone or something.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
I lost all my stuff on that one too.
Those phones are now like pretty affordable. We still get them in.
Oh, do you?
For like exactly that, like get all my contacts off of this. And when we do, we usually end up just buying a copy of that phone on eBay that works. See, I gotta use the microscope to get that tiny screw in there because that bracket is gotta go right over that, and it's just so small.
I know, very.
Yeah, I mean, I would eat my lunch under the microscope. It's just so great to. I can see.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. All right, Jaden Lee is trying to talk about iCloud lock. I'm guessing that Jaden Lee is talking about Check Rain. I'm not really sure.
Is he paying for this? Or
He is making a tip so that we'll pay attention to him. He says that he can get back in his iPhone. So, Jaden, we're not sure what you mean, so feel free to elaborate. Everybody always wants to know about iCloud lock. All right, here we go.
Are you hiring?
All right, let's see. That is the last one of those. So now we're going to just stick the, we're going to peel that adhesive, stick that down permanently or temporarily until this breaks again. Can you fix an old water damaged phone that's been sitting for a long time?
Wow.
We can fix it up enough to get the data off of it. Whether or not it's a long-term fix, I don't know. All right, so we're just going to plug back in the screen. Now we'll do the easy part, which is the shield that goes over these guys to keep that from just hopping off when you...
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. When you drop your phone, this thing keeps your screen from just popping out. And there's another one for the battery. All right, Jaden Lee says I was right. He used Check Rain and he copied account key select device. Oh, Jaden Lee, are you a software developer? What's your deal? We want to know. What I have sitting here in my queue for today, my original plan, instead of doing this charge port job, was to look into Check Rain for the boot looping devices and see whether or not I could use Check Rain as a way to get them to go back to an earlier iOS. So anybody tried that? Let me know. Definitely want to do that. All right. Another guy fixed his iPhone 7 the same way. All right. Let's see. We're coming down to the end. Now, here's my question for you. are you going to go back to the Apple store and tell them, listen, you try to cost me $1,000 over what ended up being a pretty straightforward charge port job. Screw you, pal, and burn the place down.
That would be nice. I don't want to be in prison the rest of my life.
Okay, well,
So,
there is that.
You know what?
Yeah.
Screw them. Literally, screw them.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Like, I don't have any, like, I really don't want this to happen to anybody else locally. And it does all the time. Like, I have no idea how many people have gone over there yesterday with a similar kind of thing.
Right.
And when they were told, your choice is throw this phone away or pay $1,000, that they said, well, either threw it away or paid $1,000. Like, I don't know.
And he didn't even, and the guy didn't even tell me how much it was going to cost to send it out. He said,
Yeah,
to
well,
fix it, I don't know how much they're going to charge you. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
I'm not going that route anyway. I have
Yeah.
a different road I'm going. So,
Jaden says we can't burn down the Apple store because they have sand. That is a very good point. That's a very good point. Okay, so now we have gotten every last screw in there, and now we're gonna see. It's the moment of truth. So we've got our old port here, and
as my buddy would
we're
say,
gonna pull this
if
up.
you have a screw left over, you did something wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Like,
That's what he
look at
always-
that. We have it's all
Yep.
all empty. Got everything done.
Cool.
All right, now we're gonna see. Does it charge?
Yeah.
Yes. So now we're consuming normal charging current, and this phone is going to boot up.
It's alive.
It's alive.
It
So
came back from the dead.
it came back from the dead. So there you go, Apple Store.
Yeah, right?
Now we'll teach you a thing or two. This
Unbelievable.
phone is not dead. It's perfectly alive.
Look at that.
Yeah, there you
Son
go.
of a gun.
And it's,
Yep.
just the same as
As it
it was
was.
a week ago. Everything's ready to go,
That's-
and it's charging up, and there's no reason why
Right.
why someone can't use this long term. So there you go. This is another one where I do these series for the reason of encouraging you to get a second opinion or a third opinion. If you hear something that you just doesn't seem like it should be so from the manufacturer, please know that manufacturers don't repair. Authorized repair is the same as manufacturer controlled repair. They really don't want you to fix these things. They want you to buy a new one. So if
Exactly.
your data is trapped in a dead phone,
Right?
then get a second opinion. Don't just believe what the manufacturers tell you. They don't understand hard repair. They don't do it. They don't know how to recognize it. They won't even do the most minor troubleshooting that they need to discover a $50 problem. They don't do it at all. They tell you your phone's dead, go pay somebody $1,000. And that's outrageous, right?
It is. It is.
So please like and share this video. And we'll be back with more, maybe it's not Apple lied to me, but Apple refused to help me. And that's really, really not okay.
No.
All right, so thank you, Bill. I appreciate you being a good sport.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your help.
And we will be done with this stream.
See ya.
See you next time.